I'm the chair of the council, Bob Gardner, Lucerne. I'm the vice chair, Dan Lewis, Lucerne.
I'm Councilmember Beth Shaver.
And I'm Judy Graziani from Lucerne, and I am the record keeper and the
Paul Smith, and I'm councilman.
Then I'm Jim Steele, your county supervisor.
And briefly, Dollar General, would you like to introduce yourself?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Mike Braley. I'm with a company called Rubicon. We're a land planning firm. We're a consultant to Cross Development, who is a national developer for Dollar General. I have a PowerPoint presentation, but I don't know if you really want to see it. To be honest with you, and I know some of you know, Dollar General doesn't actually have a site in Lucerne anymore. We were looking at a piece of property on the lakeside of Highway 20, just west of the bridge. Based on comments that we received from the tribe, from some of our environmental studies, from Supervisor Steele and Michael Kim, we've decided to withdraw our interest in that property. So we are actively looking for a new piece of property in Lucerne for a Dollar General store. So with that said, if anybody has a piece of property they'd like to sell us, we'd love to hear from you. But that's kind of updated where we're at, but I want to kind of tell you what we want to do. So I have a presentation. All it is basically is since we don't have a specific site, it's an overview of what Dollar General is. So if there's anybody that wants to see that, I'm happy to put it on. I think everybody's probably fairly familiar with what a Dollar General store is. But what Cross Development is actively looking for is a piece of property in Lucerne to build a new store, a new Dollar General store. And typically our stores are 9,100 square feet. They offer a little bit of everything from a small grocery department to health and beauty to automotive to flip-flops. You know, I like to compare it to like a big box store put into a store that a quarter of the size. So that's what we're doing. We obviously have two other stores in Lake County. I know Dollar General has a bit of a reputation in Lake County. We recognize that we may have stubbed our toes initially when we came to Lake County, but we were working to work with the community. That's why even though we don't have a store, we wanted to come tonight to get your input, your ideas, of where you'd like to see us, where elements you would like us to incorporate into our buildings. We're here to listen tonight, and then once we have a new site, or if somebody knows the site, please contact us. We will come back to this board before we make a formal support to
Mr. Chairman, may I ask you two questions? Could you give me your name again?
Sure, and let me give you my name and my phone number,
Okay.
if anybody knows. Mike Braley, R-A-I-L-E-Y, and my phone number is area code 775-425-4800.
Thank you.
And that's my office number, but if I'm not there and I don't pick up, it's automatically going to myself. You get me no matter what it's at.
Could I ask you to describe just briefly what kind of site you're looking for, how large, what kind of premises?
Typically, we look for, on average, our stores are about an acre, and that can fluctuate a little bit. What the big key difference on how our sizes will fluctuate is whether we're on well and septic or if we're on municipal utilities. So if we need room for leaching, for example, septic, we need a bigger site. We also have a smaller prototype store that's around 7,300 square feet, which can take smaller, obviously smaller sites, smaller parcels. Anywhere, I would say, from about 3/4 of an acre to an acre and a half, what we would be interested in. If somebody has a larger parcel that could be subdivided under the current zoning, we would consider that. Obviously, we would prefer parcels that are commercially zoned. However, if it's a remnant parcel that's zoned residential and it's now in a commercial area and it's not to change, we would consider that. We would also consider an assemblage of smaller parcels. So if you have a bunch of small lots that all can be combined into one to meet our needs, we would consider that as well. The one from a functional perspective, it needs to be in an area where we can get a delivery truck in and out, and we don't like to disturb neighborhoods and that sort of thing with delivery trucks. We tend to be in more commercial areas. Along major corridors, arterial streets, highways, that sort of thing. But I know is 13th Street, to the college. We actually looked at some parcels in there. Could we get enough parcels that are willing to sell where we could assemble something in that area? So we've heard a lot of people in Lucerne like to walk, don't like to drive to everyday service, prefer the ability to walk. So we're looking for sites that might fit that mold.
In your typical store, for instance, in Nice, which is right next to where he was, how many full-time employees do you, how many employees do you have?
Typically, there's 3 shifts for 3 to 4 employees, depending on what time of Christmas, obviously. So, and that would typically be 1 full-time supervisor, a store manager, assistant manager, and then 3 part-time associates. That's a store entity.
So that would be 3 full-time people and 9 part-time people today?
Right.
And the part-time people, what do they get paid, what kind of benefits?
I don't work for Dollar General, so I don't know, and I know it fluctuates based on where they're at the time of the year. I know a lot of times seasonal employees, general employees sometimes get a boost during the season to offset, but I can't speak for what Dollar General social payments there. I don't know. So just to give you that kind of details, maybe I should explain what our role in the process is. We work with cross development. Dollar General basically has 4 national developers that develop sites for them. So the way it works, Dollar General basically gives us a map. It says, here's where we've done a market study, here's where we want stores. And for us, it's the entire state of California, the entire state of Oregon. Here's where we want stores. So then it's up to us to find sites and then get the stores through the process, the planning process, approval, build the store. And once the store is complete, we have a pre-agreed lease from Dollar General cross development does. And they come in and lease the store for X number of years. Usually it's 25 to 30 years guaranteed lease. And then some of the sites we retain, some of the sites we sell to investors. Individuals, investors, you name it. So for example, we developed 2 stores in Lake County.
Your experience in a small community like this, where a community of 2,000 persons, what effect does the Dollar General store have on the local retail outlets when they come into the area?
It all depends. We don't compete with supermarkets or with the meat market. The only, when I say we're a small grocery store, we have grocery. We have cereals, canned goods, that sort of thing. We have frozen foods. We do not sell fresh meat. We do not sell fresh produce. We do some milk and eggs. So we do dairy, and those dairy products provide those from local suppliers. Same with bread and that sort of thing. So in general, I would say we don't have that big an impact. I think there's a big fear that we put everybody out of business, but we haven't seen that. But that's my answer to that question. And I can tell you, the Dollar General kind of target market are small towns that are more than 10 miles from a big box store. So what they try to do is offer everything that a big box store does at the same price, maybe, but not quite the selection. So if you come home from work and it's, oh, I need laundry detergent, but I don't want to drive all the way to Clear Lake to Walmart to get it, but I can go to Walmart to Dollar General and get it for the same price. So that's the target market. It's small towns that are away from big box stores, provide that everyday convenience of big box stores, but not capture those trips.
But as an example, in our community, right here in Lucerne, we have 2 local stores, the Power Mart, but for us, the most one we use most is the market. And it concerns us that the people who are employed by these outlets may be affected, and the owners may be affected. And that's my big concern. Any kind of another retail, that it will be a competition with what we already have in this community of less than 3,000 people.
I was just wondering with storing and lease and storing like those, why do you think there's another need for storing?
Dollar General does very extensive market studies and analysis. I would say that we were up to almost 14,000 stores now, Dollar General does. And both lease and currently owns are in the top 10% of Oklahoma. So they're two of the biggest stores in the country. So that they feel that those two stores are that big, there is influence. I mean,
Do you have other stores in the community of 3,000 people with Dollar General's 5 miles away or 3 miles away? And what's your annual revenue?
I can't tell you what Dollar General's or anywhere in the US is like
Or
that.
you project them?
But I can easily get those numbers for you. I'm sorry, what's that?
What kind of projections do they get out of the community that's 3,000?
I know, like, for example, a typical store will do anywhere from $1 million to $2 million.
However, whether economic income is in those communities.
Yeah, that I don't know, but I do know it's not uncommon for us to have, stores that are 2 weeks, 3 months apart. If you go to the south where they started in Tennessee, we do stores in Texas as well. In Texas, we have stores that are literally about.
And I thought it was in the policy that no stores would do 7 miles or, I mean, they had to do 7 miles.
Who's boss?
Dollar General.
No.
This community has for years, I remember when I first moved here, adopted a particular theme in design for all the buildings on Highway Plan in particular. Dollar General's design, exterior design, wouldn't fit into this particular theme. Does Dollar General ever change their
Yes.
exterior design?
In fact, if you want, I can look at the projectors that do have the elevations that we proposed for the site which are there. We did that, and we did that Swiss out. And the building actually projected like 2-story building from the front, and it included wraparound architecture and all visible sides of the building to include those. So we had faux windows. So yes, and we have heard that message loud and clear.
Like the sign, I like the
Yeah, if you want
signs.
to, I was just putting there, I can see it.
Well, is there a plug over there? I think you guys are going to see this, just so
I think there's one against this wall.
I can't project it up on something if I can get a projector.
Well, I hear that's great.
And I apologize.
If you let me know, I'll run all your.
I didn't realize you were being started. I came early and I could see the setup and saw that you were ready.
There was no room, we had brown egg. Yeah, go ahead and set something up.
While we're waiting, has everybody saw this sign sheet?
While he's setting up, let's before you can we go around? From when we did our introductions earlier, there's a lot more people. Can we just go around while he's setting up? Introduce ourselves.
Sign-in sheet right here.
Here's the sign sheet. The board introduce themselves. Why don't we go around? You're smiling, you might as well go first. Right. The board was introduced, and we're just going to do the public.
Chairman, Pauline, your niece.
No,
Roland Monster, and I live in Lucerne, have for the last 20 years.
Zach Jordan, with the record read.
Rick Steiner did,
We Peninsula, Hidden Valley?
Mike Nichols, Big Valley.
So where's the lowest upper lake?
Wayne Hughes, Burton, Clear Lake.
I'm John Jensen from Lake County News.
All the lines to go on those. Already signed government companies. Senators are, they're government.
Charles, here in Lucerne.
Plan on his tax and return.
You're up for the.
I was out of state in February, but thanks to you, I got to see what was going
What's your name? Welcome, everybody. Thanks for all your participation.
Oh my God, and the bones.
I know that's very hard to see, but I'll try to get it. We did the hard steps. So that's, it's hard to see if that's going to see. He's hitting something. So as you can see, the front of the building, I apologize for this not being, but I was hoping we might have a bigger screen, but we have a two-story roof pitch on it. It incorporates the design elements out of the codes for the Swiss state and with the rock on the bottom, and that's wrapped around the side of those. It's hard to see on this, but those are all windows. So the building, even though there's no windows on the side, the building appears from the outside that it has. So unlike kind of the flat front stores that are in the east and Clear Lake Oaks, this one has a lot of, kind of like movie set, to be honest with you, but it meets those criteria.
What about the sign?
Signs, we're not doing any more pole signs. And we heard that message loud and clear. No more pole signs in Lake County. We would have out on the highway small monument sign and stuff.
Color scheme,
Pardon?
color scheme.
The color scheme, this was like a, I believe it was either white or tan building with the accents were a brown color. The big plastic panel signs that we have on these buildings will all be replaced with individual channel letters and down, so they're not, you don't have a big bright sign in front of them.
Not yellow.
Well, we have to use yellow letters, because that's a Dollar General trademark issue, but they're individual letters, and we don't necessarily have to have them turn illuminated. For example, the store that we're proposing in Middletown, there's decorative lights that come down and shine on the sign, rather than the signs being determined. Yes.
How long will Dollar General be required to stay in place once you place them?
Typically with us, they sign a 25 to 30 year lease.
25.
25 to 30 year lease.
And it's with you, but then you sell the property.
Right, but the lease is binding goes with the property.
Right. How many, what percentage of the Dollar General stores do you still own the footprint for?
I believe Cross owns about 15 to 20% of whole stores.
You mainly sell off.
Yeah, 'cause we do dozens of stores. So, they just, we, like, can't afford this. So, they're leave it, they like to turn the profit on. Because that's where Crossing's a lot of their money is improving site, and then they sell it to an investor for more than what they put through.
So basically, you're taking about $2 million a year away from the local businesses that are here already?
Well, I would argue that that's revenue that's being lost now. So those are people that are driving to Clear Lake Oaks, or Clear Lake to go to Walmart, to go to Ukiah to go to Walmart, to go to the big box stores. We're capturing those trips within your own.
What about the toxicity level of local products that you sell and all that comes from China? I'm sorry.
That's my.
It's a big problem.
That's my.
I can't walk into one of those stores without getting congested.
Where do you source your merchandise? Is it American made?
So, I mean, there's hundreds if not thousands of different vendors that supply. So, for example, my cousin is the head of Hostess, the cupcake division of Hostess over in Sanford. She supplies Dollar General, she supplies Safeway, she supplies Walmart. So it comes from multiple sources. There's not Dollar General products made exclusively for them. There's multiple vendors. Even if you had some invention that you made that, automatic carpet cleaner, you could come to Dollar General buyers and say, I want to have my product.
I'm not so much concerned as, the number of vendors and so forth. What I'm asking you is how much of the merchandise is sourced from the United States?
I have no answer to that question. I have to look at every individual vendor, what they.
Well, they should have that.
I can try to get you this, but tonight,
No.
it was just pure speculation.
Just go into one of the stores and the vegetables are from China. They.
Other than you said the bread and the milk, and eggs, you buy locally, is that what happens with the?
Yes, and then there's local, like for example, the local, not every store.
Fruit, vegetables,
We don't sell fresh vegetables. They don't sell fresh vegetables. But stuff that is available, for example, beer. Not every store sells alcohol. That's up to the individual. That's up to Dollar General. We never permit stores for alcohol. If they want alcohol, they do that on their own. But if they do, there's laws giving us they have to buy from local distributors. So beer, there's a local beer guy. Bread is you want fresh, obviously, so you buy locally from same with eggs and
Any more questions for Mike? Just when you purchase the sites and then lease it to Dollar General?
So how it works is in cross development, we'll come in and purchase the site, pending all their, we get all of our approvals. We will close on the property, build the building, and then we will operate the building. Either we'll keep it or we'll sell it. Initially we will operate the building at least for the first month.
Do you have an occasion to lease the property and then sublease it with Dollar General?
No, not that I know. Everyone that I've ever done, we've actually purchased.
Do you use solar?
We actually have used solar, and not in Lake County, but we have used it in other areas. We're doing one right now in Hopeville, California, which is down here in Centro, in the Imperial Valley, and that will have solar.
Any other questions? Thank you for your question.
Mike, one of the, I don't know what the answer's gonna be, but I won't put you on the spot. One of the problems we have here, and I hear this from the neighbors and around the county, each one of the sections of the county are a little different in review, but everybody seems to be universal on this. We don't want Lake County to have some kind of stamp look to it, cookie cutter look from a store that they might see somewhere else. We feel like we're unique here. So we have 2 stores already on this corridor. I wonder if cross development or the person that has a lease now on the other 2 stores have been considering changing the signage just so it could be muted a little bit.
I can certainly ask that. We don't own those stores anymore, so it's somewhat out of our control. However, I would say that cross development is working to fix some condition items on the Clear Lake Oaks store. I'm more than happy to bring that up next Monday when we have our internal meeting and say, you know, we look at maybe changing out the sign. I can't say that they didn't do it, but I can certainly bring it to it.
Yeah, and it's not as though everybody has a monument sign, but those are required, that cause a problem.
So, and like I say, I can't stress you enough, I have met with Commissioner Steele about, or Supervisor Steele about the site we had, and I can tell you his opinion played largely in why we're not pursuing that site. It's good because he gives us kind of a low point site, but we're kind of starting fresh on how we do these. We want to come to the community. I know not everybody's going to like Dollar General, and we're tasked by Dollar General to find a site. And I know not everybody wants Dollar General, and I understand. But if we do come to the community, we want to be somewhere where the community, because we know the stores are being used in the communities. We know that. We can see how successful it is. So we want to be somewhere where you feel it's appropriate to have commercial use like this, somewhere that we feel the best of the community, and make it look like what you want. Like, you've got a vision for what Lucerne should be, and we want to try to make it look that way, not just give you our corporate prototype and say, make it look.
So does cross-development work with other retailers who may be more accommodating to this community instead of Dollar General? When we have one in East, we have one in Clear Lake Oaks. Could it be something that would support our local identity and the stores that we have here that would be renovated for other types of retailers?
We do work with other retailers, but not in California. The only retail sites we do have right now are adult.
Your business is in California, right?
I'm based out of Reno, and Cross Development is based out of Kansas. So we are consultants, right? So we work hand in hand on all the developments.
And what about?
So yeah, there's 3 layers. There's Rubicon Design Group, which I'm with. We're based in Reno, Nevada. We are a consultant to Cross Development, who's based in Texas, and Dollar General is based in Texas.
Do you bring your people in from Reno, Nevada to build a store?
No, we do not. All the stores are built locally. They're put out to bid, and then we do not bring our construction team with us. Our in-house design and architecture and landscape architecture and engineering, we do all in-house, but the actual construction of the stores is on bid out the local.
But it's still a steel building.
It is still. Well, this is a steel building, but it's completely wrapped in EPIS and stone, and so you won't be able to really tell it's a steel building. But
On 4 sides, it's wrapped?
on all visible, what we've done on this site was all visible sites where we're wrapped. Yes.
Well, a lot of the concern, I think, is that corporations come in, walk away with all the local dollars. What would be Dollar General's? And I know you're not speaking for them, but you're the one that's standing here. So what would be their commitment to give back to communities, and how would they make sure that they become a part of our community?
I'm gonna, some of these questions come up, and this is going to directly answer your question.
Okay.
I'm going to give you the Dollar General propaganda slide show so you can see what they did.
Meanwhile, Mr. Chairman, I have a statement I want to make about this, but I don't know if it's appropriate to do it while we're transferring. So, I know what I want to say.
So this just kind of goes over what they do. They've got 13,600 stores in 44 states, 14 distribution centers, which is why California, all the stores within that, there's a new distribution center in Bakersfield, which is servicing the state of California. That's why you're seeing the big explosive growth of Dollar General in California right now, because they have a new distribution center.
I'm sure even the produce wants to get out of the Bakersfield.
So this guy tells you, 1955 started with 1 store, 1997 there were 3,000 stores, 2,000, 40,000 employees, and now 13,600 stores with 120,000 employees. So as you see, they've had explosive growth in the last year.
But of those 40,000 employees, how many are full-time and how many are working?
I would have to
Part-time
think
and
about
other
that.
benefits.
This just tells a little bit of the story where it's at. To get to your comment, they have a literacy foundation, and I want to skip ahead to one more slide. Right. So So basically, any nonprofit organization within 20 miles of a Dollar General store is eligible to apply for these literacy grants. And I will tell you that this has been brought up in Lake County and nobody's applied for it, is what I've been told. But, so even Lucerne right now, the library, for example, the school, even the senior center would be eligible to apply for those grants, and they do give them out.
How big are they?
It depends on what you're requesting. So they could be as small as, a couple $1,000 all the way up to $20,000, $30,000, depending on what the program. And all their information is on their website. I'd be happy to get that to Supervisor Steele to get out at community meetings of what the process is.
Any questions you have in the community while you have the community here?
Yeah, I mean, other than does anybody want to sell his property? I say that kind of jokingly, but I'm serious too. But I mean, if we are to come to Lucerne, is there an area that the community feels would be most appropriate?
This side of the highway.
This side of the house.
Yeah, it's not on the list. We learned that the hard way.
And I don't know about anybody else, but like was concerned about Lakeview Market and our market and the people that work there and stuff. And I think, you are going to employ local people and things like that. But I would think somewhere maybe down this way, not right next to each other. Because I think one of the things that to me would be appealing about the Dollar General, even though there's one in Nice and one in Clear Lake, is the whole idea to me is there's a lot of people that especially in this town, seniors and stuff, that because they walk, they can't really drive. So I could see where it would be a benefit, and Lakeview's already at that end. Our mark seems kind of in the middle, so that seniors, can walk and get there.
And we're flexible on location. Unlike a Walmart that tries to drop people all over the region, so they have to be in the most visible spot, freeway visibility or highway visibility. Dollar General we're trying to capture the people, the local people that are going to work. So everyone's going to know where we're at. We're not looking for the customers that are going back and forth from Ukiah away. That's not what we're looking for. We go after the work.
I have a question for you. Out of curiosity, you have no site, so you have no plan. So why are you presenting?
Well, we did have a site, and so when this meeting was
really?
Yeah, when this meeting was agendized, we still officially had our application in with the county, and I talked to Supervisor Steele. I wanted to come get because that's when the rumors started to fly, and I didn't want anybody to think that we were ignoring the community, so we wanted to come and say, here's where we're at in the process. We are coming. And I'm committing to you tonight, before anything formal goes into the county, on any future site, we'll come back to this board and present it for you.
So what if we don't want to at all?
Well,
I'm just asking.
I understand that. I've heard that before.
Let's just say it. No, enough people, the majority says no.
Yeah,
do you guys go away? Just asking.
We don't. We do. If ultimately the board supervisor closes down, we do. But to be very blunt, Cross Development and myself, we're tasked with the job from Dollar General. We want to store this. So as I told Supervisor, sometimes that's frustrating for us because we know that we're fighting and losing battles sometimes. And we don't like to fight. We're not going to fight. But we are tasked with something, and if we don't show Dollar General that we did do our job, they're not going to hire us to do the next one. Does that make sense? So, but what we want to do is hopefully come up with something that the community does. And that's our.
So what kind of store would the community like to see? Maybe that's the question?
Yeah. We've heard from individuals that we've spoken with about the design of the building to keep the Swiss theme, and we've incorporated that. But beyond that, actually when we looked at the side on the other side of the highway, we talked about dedicating the rear portion of our parcel to the county to extend the park. But I think even then that did outweigh the objection to us being on the site. And that's had some cultural resource issues that we weren't comfortable with.
I'd really like to see something like an organic store
made for humans.
Unfortunately, I can't control the products that they sell, but
I'm just saying, it would just be wonderful to be able to go to the store and buy healthy food.
It's sort of an interesting question, actually, because when you come in, you provide a lower cost product, which is also a lower quality product. So have you ever done any studies on what happens in the communities in which you're selling the sugars and the carbohydrates?
You know, I haven't. I mean, I will tell you, we sell many of the same, if not all the same products that the Tower Mart sells. Yeah. So I mean, it's the products. You know, I don't have any control over what the store sells. I can get you some answers in terms of where the stuff comes from and what the percentages are, but that's so far out of my realm of expertise or knowledge.
Does anybody in your organization ever look at that kind of thing?
No, because we're on the construction side of things. Yes.
Are all the Dollar General stores owned by the corporation, or are they franchised, or what?
They're not. It's all owned by the corporate.
So
they don't necessarily own. They do own some stores, but all the stores that we're doing, they lease on long-term leases.
Okay, so I'm trying to get that down. It's their store, but they lease it.
Right. So we build it to their specifications, all the way down to what lights are inside and the color of the floor tiles, the whole nine yards. The only thing that we really have any flexibility on is the architecture, and they have. And I should say we're really flexible. We're flexible on what the outside of the building looks like. We're not flexible on the footprint of the building. They have their prototypes that, you know, they've got shelves that are designed specifically for these prototypes. So we're flexible on outside, so we can embellish the building. What it comes down to be very honest with you, is all the embellishments come out of our overall profit and budget. So we get budgets from Dollar General. This is what we're willing to spend. And so we back into numbers a lot of times to use land costs, permitting costs, engineering costs, if there's, you know, some sites are easier than others to develop. And so that's how we work. But, you know, we do adjust and adapt buildings to.
So to Dollar General, I'm just thinking about the business itself. The Dollar General store, that business locally is owned by the corporation. Correct.
Yeah, they are a tenant in
all
our
of the
building.
profit dollars go to that corporation and not to local.
It's very happy. I mean, we do generate obviously tax revenue, and employ local people, but it's not a huge employment number. I'm not going to lie to you. We're very sensitive. But yeah, and so from our perspective, we are building a commercial building. Dollar General is our tenant.
And where is the corporate headquarters of Cross Development?
It's Carrollton.
It's not a California corporation.
I was going to ask you, I read in our paper that you were trying to get a Dollar General somewhere else. It was either Riviera Heights or Kelseyville or Middletown. And it was rejected, flat out rejected, right?
Kelseyville was. Middletown was rejected based on the use was approved. We're working on redesign of the exterior. Kelseyville was. And actually, we have one that goes to planning commission tonight in the city of Lakewood.
Lakewood too.
Tonight.
So we have a number of other items on the agenda, so thank you for.
And if anybody has questions, don't hesitate to call me. You can call me on that number I said. I promise I'll take your call. And if you get my voicemail, I promise I'll return your call. And if there's any information that you want, I'll try to get some of the answers that questions that couldn't answer tonight. But I do promise you will get a call.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So we usually run 90 minutes, which we're over, but let's cover some of the agenda items that we can, the ones that we can't, we'll come back to. And
Dollars, relevant to Dollar General.
yes, so we want to just hold off, we're going to do that now. A couple minutes.
The Board of Supervisors has spent valuable money to put in a beautiful Lucerne esplanade for the enjoyment of local citizens and the attraction of tourists. Could you stand up, please? Sure. The Board of Supervisors has spent valuable monies to put in a beautiful Lucerne esplanade for the enjoyment of local citizens and the attraction of tourists. They have also, this is the Board of Supervisors, developed the art cottages with lovely art to promote tourism and local citizens. Lucerne Harbor draws many local people and visitors to fish, boat, and enjoy the beauty of our lake. With the adjustment of our water bills, it is hoped that more businesses will be attracted to the many available store spaces on Lucerne's main thoroughfare. The departure of Marymount is unfortunate, but we still have a beautiful building which can be developed for cultural, community, tourist, or educational advantages. At the end of the drought, that's still aware of the preciousness of water, homeowners in Lucerne are bringing back the gardens to beautify our area.
Sorry.
Neighborhood Watch is working to ensure the safety of local people. The senior center is functioning not only as a lunch venue, but also as a center for community music, art, and poetry. Given these positive dynamics, the presence of a Dollar General store is definitely a negative element and a step backwards. It does not provide grocery service of fresh foods, which would support community health, which is a stated objective of the Board of Supervisors. Such a store would be in competition with local businesses like Lakeview Market, the Party Store, Tower Market, etc. There are $2 stores on either side of Lucerne already, Nice and Clear Lake Boats. Apparently, the business plan of Dollar General Corporation is to invade economically distressed communities, creating a stigma of poverty where they set up their presence. The appearance of a Dollar General store is reminiscent of cheap strip malls that one associates with the poorer neighborhoods like those found in areas of Los Angeles and Southern California. Lucerne, the Switzerland of the Americas, is a beautiful and precious area of Lake County. Let us not allow this type of enterprise to blight our struggling community. If we work together, residents, supervisor, consultant groups, and the Board of Supervisors, we can promote the well-being of our Lucerne community.
Who wrote that?
Excellent. Submitted by Lori Susia.
Is the PowerPoint available? They were asking. Yeah, I can leave you actually with the flash drive with it if you want.
I would like to see it closer to that.
No, I'll just give you a flash drive.
Okay, I'll take it.
Okay, so it was requested that we talk about Lucerne Harbor next.
Lucerne Harbor, go ahead, John. Lucerne Harbor. Okay. Can you pitch the lights over there? I think we need lights on. And so the issue is Lucerne Harbor. Where is it? Probably the dredging and the rebuilding. Is that the question? Yeah. Okay. Which is an excellent question because we're still working on it. They sent in an application of my request to do a dredge and put in some docks and kind of lighten that up a little bit. The point I made with them is that the boaters come in and boat out to the lake, but if they want to come back and dock and take a respite from the lake, they have to go somewhere else. You don't have to come back here and tie up. And then they can use the town. That gives us a more of a destination for them. So that was the theme, the idea, and they sent in an application that was denied. Now, when it was denied, the problem was it didn't fit the criteria of the grant. So I've asked them to go back and look at the criteria of the grants, if they can adjust it and get someone to come out to visit the place and site.
and see that it is not, it's underutilized. If you look at the seawall and the amount of space behind it, it's underutilized, and this will improve on boating. And let's take out the issues about the economics, because that's anti to their grant thesis. So we're gonna do an adjustment, and they have accepted to come out and look. So we're not out of the running, but it'll be a year delay.
We were talking, our first group about this about a year ago, having a sculpture, a big, large, artistic sculpture, right over the four buildings. Because I was a member at first, and the whole year passed, and I was one of the artists in one of the groups, and I didn't sell a single painting the whole year because the tourists just don't stop, they just come on through. And so Jim's idea was to have a really exciting looking sculpture that would attract the people just going through, because it's a highway, to turn around and come back and see what's under there. We need something other than that sign, it just doesn't slow people up very much.
The Lucerne Harbor is actually a different item on the agenda than that. If you wanted to have that put on the agenda for a discussion, we can go into it, because I got a lot of background on that as well.
Let's do that next time.
But from the Brown Act standpoint, it would have to be, other people would have to be able to see it's on there, and then know that it's going to be discussed.
I appreciate your efforts in pursuing that, because as a boater, it's very difficult to pull in there, tie up, and either run over the Fosters and come back.
What are you going to do?
Yeah.
You got to pull your boat out.
Exactly. So, thank you.
Yeah, but you have to leave room for other boaters coming down there.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't have
You're
it.
tied up and no one can
So next on the agenda, go back to the new cannabis regulations.
Oh, and that is me. Okay, so what I have, I should have been handing these out. Take one for myself. Let them go out. What this is everyone's getting one, is the ordinance that's being proposed. Right now you have an ordinance called Article 72. And Article 72 generally, not generally, specifically says what you can do and what you can't do. And this goes back to what was called at one time Measure N. So if you remember Measure N, well, it turned into Article 72. So there's been a lot of change in the dynamic since Measure N, Article 72. There's been Prop 64. There's been another, it involved in state level regulations. The state never really developed regulations for cannabis at the state agency level. So he ordered the state agencies to take the laws that they had and then take those authorities and develop regulations under those authorities to govern cannabis and to protect our natural resources. We had pesticides being used where they should have been, we had water being polluted, we had sediment on the sides of the hills and the grading, that sort of thing, into the streams. We had, of course, for us, we had sediment getting into the lake, we had a lot of nutrients that were extra. You go down the list, and pesticides were interfering with a lot of wildlife. We found endangered species out there, the fisher. They had found several of those that get into pesticides. So that's that. So they were finding all of this, it's mostly up on the north coast. Down here, they had some as well. So with all that and the heavy complaints, it looked like the community was giving itself a black, the cannabis community was giving itself a black eye, and these were actors that were not following the rules. So they wanted them specifically mentioned, they came out with regulations specifically mentioning cannabis. And Regional Water Quality Control Board, they have 9 districts. One of them is Central Valley, one of them over here to the coast. They each came out with draft rules, and they were separate and different. So those 2 sets of rules were kind of a test to see whether or not they would work. So all of that time has passed. That test has been reviewed. The Department of Fish and Wildlife has gotten involved. They hired new people. They have codified their rules so that it actually carries the cannabis review on it. So all those things are happening. The status has been going on for about a year, maybe a little bit more than a year. Proposition 64 came along, and when it was passed,
it looked like it was going to liberalize the rules a little more to the adult use. Some people call that recreational. But the adult use of cannabis was now going to be on the table and was going to be more than medicinal use. So the state agencies were looking at the rules under Prop 64 to see if they would cross over. And it turned out that they would not. So the legislature, and they didn't want 2 sets of rules, they wanted 1 set fits all because it was one problem in each different set of rules, each different situation. They're still growing cannabis, right? In addition, they had the end market where the product itself wasn't being controlled properly, kids were getting to it, that sort of thing. So I need to say it's a whole chain of issues. So the legislature looked at the different propositions and the different rules they had and different problems, and they came up with crossover legislation. They had 30 bills on the table at one time trying to cross over these 2 pieces, these 2 propositions, the medicinal and the recreational, and all the rules that the state had adopted at that time. Because the state had laws which govern things that were similar, such as alcohol, because one is a drug, and the other is a drug, the 2 should cross over. Agriculture, because one's in an agricultural setting, and we have other agricultural rules for pesticides, that sort of thing, those 2 should cross over. So you can see how the crossover started to happen. The tailwater that goes into the stream, the water usually comes out of the wells, it comes out of the streams, all of those crossovers are there. So they wanted to make sure that they fit under the authorities and there would be no challenges. So this last year, Prop 64 comes into effect in 2018. So this last year was the get it ready year where everybody was doing the right. The rules that the state agencies had written had to be, they had to go back and they had to rewrite them because of this little restart. And that's been the delay. So that's why you don't see a heavy hand from the government coming in trying to strip all this out. In addition to all of that, the counties are where the land use happens. Counties take care of land use, state agencies take care of all the regulation from the standpoint of direct human impact. But land use is at the county level. So the counties really wanted to maintain control at the county level, and they did not want the state to tell them what to do. And every county, all 58 was saying this. So you got to listen to your counties, and all 58 saying, "No, wait a minute, we're not going to have anybody that's not living locally tell us what to do." So the counties asked for that, and that has actually been heard strongly by the governor. And they said, okay, counties are going to have to develop your rules as well. California State Association of Counties, CSAC, is the organization that represents all the counties. I'm your director representative on that. I sit on the board of directors. Also, there's the Rural County Representatives of California, which directly represent the smaller rural counties, with a smaller population of rural counties. There's 35 of those out of the 58. I sit on your board of directors for that as well. So all of a sudden, it felt the crosshairs on me thinking, somebody's got to start figuring out how to start bringing this forward into this county in an organized way so we can come up with and change to Article 72. That will then be our land use rules, and it will keep the problems, the nuisance of marijuana away from those that would be victims of that, and also allow for marijuana as the law has stated. So in other words, the code has said you can do these things, the county is going to regulate, the county regulate in a responsible way, so what's your regulations going to look like for that? So that's the backdrop, that's the setting. So let me tell you the most recent meeting, and I've got this for you so you can see the adjustment that's on the table, and we're going to be discussing this. So just look at that. Behind this is almost 90 pages of regulation. So that's where the details are. You know where the devil rides, that's in the details. So that will tell everybody where they can grow, where they can't grow, how they can grow, all of that stuff. This is just the first step, all right? The reason this step is first was at my urging.
because what it looked like and what the director was telling us was, if we start developing permits now, it will be someday after I retire, before we ever get to the end of the number of permits we're going to want to have here in this county. Everybody wants to do this. We don't have the capacity to do it. And board members and the people in charge of the budgets said, we're not going to be able to afford this. I mean, even if they started paying their taxes, paying their fees, that money comes in slowly, so you build up the chest for hiring people very slowly. So that means the startup is going to be extremely long, extremely slow. So I recommended that there be a self-recognition certification approach in order to get the dollars in early and to get the enforcement in early, because we saw that the state was stepping up with the broader enforcement. With them doing that and setting the bar for us so that we don't have the problem with the streams and the rest of it, we don't have to do that as much here. In fact, they will develop those rules. So there's a whole series of rules we do not have to develop now, since the state has stepped up. That was a real welcome sight. Now the county with the land use will be very clear because it is mapped out, and it will have a series of rules that everyone can understand. If they can't do it right, they'll keep going back and making sure it's clear. So let's say that somebody comes in and wants to be a grower. They will look at all of those rules, all of the land use, and they will say, I can self-certify that I am going to do this. And they will pay their fee. And we're going to anticipate a large number of people coming in and paying a fee. Those fees hire additional staff. Those staff will have to go out and check that site before the end of the year. And that's the criteria. They've got to check it, they've got to make sure before the next harvest they're doing it. And then there's going to be a series of penalties if they don't do it right. They may even lose their grow. They may be fined, and the fines may be heavy. But, so you got something to lose, and you're going to want to do it right. And so we're going to want to have a dialogue and communication to make sure everybody understands what it is. If we get it wrong and they get it wrong, we'll put it up, and they'll put it back and forth the way it right. So that's the approach. And I got this from talking to a lot of people that are concerned about the grows, watching how the nuisances were in place, and talking to growers who wanted to grow and wanted to do it responsibly. Just recently, the North Coast counties, the rural county representatives, the caucus, and it's a smaller set of counties, which includes us, hosted CSAC, California State Association of Counties, in Humboldt. And so I went up to that. It was a 2-day conference, and it was the most information-packed conference I've been to that I can remember. These were 3 panels of people that, wow, really knew their background, really had been there in the experience of the last 20 years, and said, here's some do's and don'ts. And oh, by the way, I raised my hand. What about us? We're going to do it this way. They say, that's a good approach because, and they had the reason why. And the reason why was one I had not anticipated. In Humboldt County, when they were not firm with their regulations, and there was a certain cachet for cannabis that came out of Humboldt County, if people knew it came out of Humboldt County, it had a certain cachet. Well, growers started to flock in, and they weren't being regulated. They went from what they believed was around 2,000, maybe 3,000 growers. Well, right now, they have 12,000 unregulated growers in Humboldt County. And they showed pictures aerial pictures of a tire forest where there was 2 or 3 spots on it where there were growers 2 years ago, and then they showed today, and I'm telling you, the enforcement is almost gone. They were everywhere. And so they moved in, and this is the black market. And apparently what they can do, I call it the black market because the legitimate growers who want to be regulated call themselves the white market. They say the white market says we want to be regulated and we want fair play and we want to be protected from the black market that will undercut us. So we want to play fairly and be citizens just like everybody else and have an open market for our product. And we want to make sure that we keep our kids and all the other things that you say are problems for marijuana, we believe in this. The black market
people are not even talking. They're hyped. They want to know how they can get in and not lose and all that sort of thing. And part of the problem is they don't understand how to talk regulation. They really can't talk, speak the language. And so what's going on in Humboldt County is they're developing 1-800 phone lines, they're developing committees, local committees, so these folks can get out of the woods and have open conversation on how to become permitted and how to become legal and be in the white market. So they're trying to create a difference between a prohibited market over to a regulated market. So right now you got prohibition, just like the old days, and they want to come into a regulated market. So we got two sides of this thing. One of the things I took away from them is what you don't want to do in Lake County is say no because you're going to be overrun with everybody go kicking out. Because they know they're going to overrun this place and be able to grow. You won't be able to do anything about it because why? You don't have law enforcement funded and you don't have code enforcement funded and counties run by their own. And the only ones you're going to have is the state people that have their law enforcement, and there isn't that many of them. So that's what's going on, and that's the game being played. And so that's why this is so important to get it out to you, the public. When this came forward, sorry about my voice. When this came forward, I requested that the board not act on it, because they were going to actually act on this the day it came forward, a couple weeks ago, 3 weeks ago now. And I says, no, please hold off until we have the meeting in the north, and we have the July 19th meeting in Sacramento. That's the next one coming up. What's that, tomorrow? Very quick. Okay, good. So in 1 week, they're going to have it over in Sacramento. Sacramento will be that new rollout of state agency rules. So now we have from the county, we've heard from the counties up in the north, we'll have heard from the state agencies, we'll know what our playing field is. We know we have our Article 72, we know we have our philosophy on the table, we've talked to everybody that we can, and it looks like there's nobody saying, wow, you just made a mistake. You're going in the right direction. Everybody that I talked to said, yeah, I wish we would have thought about that first. Because what we did was we tried to meter them through the door and say we're going to have 500 permits. They said, yeah, right. Everybody's going to grow whether they want one of your permits or not. And people got to 500 and say, gee, I wish I hadn't spent that money. So they said, open it up, make sure that people can get in that want to be in, but then they got to follow the rules. And if you don't want to follow the rules, get out. And that's the game that's being played. So I want to make sure you heard that philosophy. I don't want to have a bunch of illegal grows out here. I don't like the lawlessness that's going on in counties where you can't control it. And as near as I can say, is from what I've heard up there, the whole idea of saying no is kind of falling to coup. No communities are getting the illegal grows. So it's kind of going its own way. So if you say yes, control it, make sure it's what you want. So that's what's on the table, and so some decisions are going to be made. And I want everybody to know if it's going to affect you, you need to know what it's going to be. It isn't just a matter of some guys trying to make money. It's a matter of community values. And those community values are on the block right now, and we're trying to protect them. While I was up there, I took notes as fast as I could, and then I put it into, I distilled it down into a PowerPoint presentation as a presentation to the board, and it will be heard at the next board meeting. So if you can't make board meeting, you watch it on TV, channel 8. And I think it's time out for that. So that's where we are. Every Tuesday, so the next Tuesday. Yeah, the first 4 Tuesdays of the month, if there's the 5th Tuesday, we get it off. And then it's 4 Tuesdays a month. And then you'll see that I don't have it tonight. Maybe I should have done it. I don't know. I didn't even think about it actually. But I'm going to present to the board. And in that presentation, the board members will have a chance to have dialogue because they're getting educated. Now, at the meeting, the conference in Humboldt, we have 60 supervisors there. And I was amazed at how many of those supervisors that were making the decision for their counties had never been on a grow site before. So we were at group houses, we were at grow sites, we were talking to, we were in the processing
plants, we were in the aftermarket. I got a bunch of free samples. I had a bag full, I mean, it's lost on me, I didn't know how to use this stuff, right? But I had all the free samples, and the concept is track and trace. This is how they actually are going to protect the chain. They're going to track the plants themselves, and then they're going to put a tracer on all of the products that go through the chain to the end user. And then they're going to say, hopefully, this is what we're going to find out July 19th. Then they're going to say, no in the black market and sell anywhere into that chain. You have to have a permit to do it. You will be locked out of the market, and you will not have a dispensary. And if anyone's selling to anyone after that, it's evident to break the law. If you have any on your possession after that, it's evident to break the law. The key is going to be how is the county's going to handle the extra little nuance for personal use for 6 plants grown in everybody's yard. That one has not been solved yet. Just to tell you, that's the kicker. And I'm going to every meeting I can find to figure out how it's going to be handled so that we don't have a bunch of illegal grows. Because in one county right now, what they're doing, I'm not so sure it's happening here. They organize the people that grow in their backyard, and they give them money to do that. They fix their fence, they pay their a couple of bills, an electric bill, they grow in their backyard, then they come and cultivate, take it out away from them, take it away from them, and pay them a couple more bucks, and they gather up entire communities, and then that black market goes on to the grower. So I have an idea that if you're going to grow in your backyard, you're going to have a way to have track and trace. That's what I'm guessing, but I don't know. I've got to find out what everybody else's solution is. But I have talked to one hell of a lot of supervisors that are either complaining or they're saying, we got to figure this out, we're going to move forward. Calaveras County, I think it was. Calaveras County got into the game a little too early, and they've had to back up. They basically got overwhelmed, and they had so much crime going on because there's so much loose cash. They got overwhelmed. I think they had 4 murders. Don't quote me, I think it's 4 murders. And there's been murders in other places and crime in other places because of loose cash. The Congress has got the idea that we got to do something about this, and they put a couple of bills in, holding the banks harmless because of the way that the federal government insures banks. They have control over those dollars. So the banks were afraid of taking those dollars in. That's why it's all cash market. And so now they got a bill in. If it passes, it will hold the banks harmless, and that cash will go into banks. So I'm kind of holding my breath for when that will happen. And CSAC and RCRC both came out with resolutions supporting it and sent that forward. And also NACO, which is the National Association of Counties, did the same thing. So hopefully we got enough guns to make that happen. The loose cash is the problem. Right now they estimate there's a couple $2 billion of loose cash on the North Coast. And you know there's going to be criminals up there if that kind of loose cash is.
Senator McGuire had a bill in that was trying to get like deposit stations, so when they pay their taxes, they can go there and take their deposits there.
Yeah, it's kind of a sidebar way of financing, yes, and that's being looked at in CSAC. And that was at the request, by the way, I think, of CSAC, and so they're looking, I can't tell you exactly how it reads, but I think the federal government might be used to it. I hope so, because I'd like to see it just across the board.
That was interesting.
And I will tell you that after having toured the sites and all of these people that are trying to do it the right way, I didn't have nearly the fears that I had prior to doing that. I mean, these are really people who've been in a long time. It's kind of funny because I think it's a whole story. The guy I was talking to, he was saying, no, I'm a 3rd generation grower. I said, well, where's your granddaddy grow? He says, well, right back in here, he's still here. And, well, what year was that? He says, well, in 1970. He says, well, that's kind of funny because I was up here doing timber harvest studies in the 1970s, was tripping over black pipe, and it probably was your granddad's. So there's a lot of history, you know, there and all this stuff. Well, in any case, any questions? You're just happy with the way we're going?
Yeah, this ordinance applies to medical marijuana only?
Well, right now.
Yeah, okay, so it's a model for now.
It's a model, but there'll be a big sea change. And that's why this was premature.
Okay.
Yeah. And I had to get that out because the staff really had they worked hard with the community, both growers and non-growers, to come up with a good set of rules that they thought. After I went to this RCRC meeting, I found I had flaws in it. So I'm so glad I went.
Don't you think that it could be reduced from 91 pages?
Oh, the codified part really is there in order to make all the land use issues work. Those 91 pages are the same pages we have now, they're just 91 pages that changes them. So with all of that, all those changes, it'll then reduce down to one they'll hand out across the counter so that the cannabis grower can say, okay, I can follow this. I got to get this permit, I got to follow that rule, and I got to be in this place and no other place. And that's what we hope this will show in the final product.
Then I have one more question, because last time we were at the neighborhood watch, and that sheriff was there, he was saying that, I thought he was saying that this proposition criminalized it for minors. So are you gonna make that adjustment, or? I thought that's what he said.
No, I don't think he has to say that. Yeah, that was a misunderstanding. It does not criminalize it for minors. It will be at 21. There was some talk about it being at 18. But what it is legal at 21. So, and in fact,
And that would be in the rules that you guys.
oh yeah. What we'll do is we'll track right on to the state rules. I mean, the state rules will be there. We have to follow those. It's for everybody, including us. We just do the land use rules. The way we were trying to get by before was to do everything. And we couldn't do it, and the sheriff couldn't do it. They couldn't even, well, we had houses being gutted, and grow lights inside.
Right, I remember him saying that.
Yeah, and so here you've got houses off the market, we've got a lot of people that are homeless on the street, we don't have a housing inventory we should have, and people are going to put plants inside. So this is not a good situation. So that's why it's been a little longer than I would want to have it happen. But that's why we have to wait for everything to come forward, and then we can say definitively, this is how you're going to handle yourself in the growth boundaries.
I guess. So, under Article 72 right now, you're only allowed to grow ag. And you guys are adding RL plants into it. Do you personally feel there's going to be a lot more of an environmental impact on the RL lands than you would need in the more agricultural areas?
Well, first off, we're not adding it into it until they vote.
Yeah, well, the proposal.
This is proposal is to add RL. Now, that was one of the questions I took up there. Are we making a mistake with RL lands? And they said, here's the way to handle it. It's up to you guys, obviously, because you're the land use county. And that was one of the things that I found in there. I found several things in there I would have done differently than I've been. RL lands, they are growing in these counties. But what they say is you cannot grow in RL lands unless you have a provisional permit. What that requires then is someone who's going to grow is to come in and prove that they're not going to cause a problem, and it's provisional. If there's a problem, guess what? You lose your license. And that's the way they're doing it up there, and they say that that seems to be successful right now. And keep in mind that a lot of this is transition. There it is. A lot of this is transitional. 10 years from now, it's going to be a completely different discussion. Even 5 years from now, it's going to be a completely different discussion. And the thing that I really don't want to have happen 5 years from now is still being worried about our kids, worried about them growing up and not being motivated to work. Kids that maybe don't have the IQ they should have. All of those things. I'm really worried about the kids. I'm also worried about the influences that I saw potentially coming forward. The track and trace stuff that they gave to me in the bottles and the jars and the packaging and all of that, it's all in packages to set up as marijuana, right? You take the product out, it looked like a gummy bear. You couldn't tell it from another gummy bear on the market. They had so many products in there that looked like something that you could have at a party and nobody would know what it was, and the THC content that we used to have as kids at 5%, well, these THC contents were 26%. So that produces a whole different effect and a whole different after effect. So with all of that, and the kids being able to take it to school and put it in a package that the teachers can't tell it's just nothing but some kind of food item or candy, that's a problem. So what we're hoping for is the July 19th meeting that they got this one right. because the products I saw were like, yeah, and when I mentioned it, the folks that were producing the products didn't see the problem. Well, haven't you heard of responsible parenting? Right. You and I are going to fight this one. This ain't going to go down on my watch. So we'll get all the letters out, we'll get all the information on the table, we'll make sure that we're in the game and we're fighting, and other supervisors hear the same thing. I don't want the kids getting this stuff, and I want adults using it responsibly, and I don't want communities having a problem with it. So that's what we're trying to do.
I totally understand about the kids and everything, but I would just hate to see the county. I've talked to Bob, the community development director, and it seems that the county is going towards taking it out of ag. And he's mentioned that a few times, that right now it's allowed in ag, they're moving into RL under the 90-page document that the community development has. They're leaning towards taking it out of ag. And I would hate to see that happen. I feel like the environmental impacts in RL are so much greater. Campus in the future is going to be agriculture. It's moving into all of the ag valleys. It's coming out of those mountains because it's in the mountains because it's illegal and people had to hide it and you couldn't grow it in prime soil out in the nice valleys. Now that the law is changing, I just don't see the point of pushing it back up into the mountains when it doesn't need to be there anymore. If there is a site that would work and they could get an RL property that would work just like a vineyard, there is vineyards in RL, but there's just a lot less vineyards in RL because the environmental impact is a lot more. It's a lot harder to not have runoff from your farm affect another property. I would just hate to see the county take it out of ag. I feel like it is.
And you should write your comments down too and get them in if you feel that way. Nothing you said has escaped anybody's notice.
Yeah.
Believe me, nothing. And you made several assumptions and conclusory remarks, and you got to be careful of that. Simply because you saw something being proposed doesn't mean it isn't going to get adjusted.
Yeah.
Originally, when they put it in ag in Article 72, they thought they were controlling it because the ag parcels were so large. And so they said, yeah, if you want to put it on ag, put it on a 40 acre. And oh, by the way, when you put it on a 40 acre, it's got to be this small because of all the setbacks. So that's what they were doing. That was an anti-cannabis rule, is what it was. No, but going forward, what they're trying to do, I'll just tell you what they're doing in Humboldt. I can't tell you what we're going to do here because we haven't done it. What they did in Humboldt was they said, look, you guys, you're up in the mountains, you caused the problem. Same statement. Let's get you down to flat land. But if you're going to be down on flat land, there's only so much flat land, and you have to be not a problem with regard to you being a high product price, a high price product, and forcing out traditional agriculture. So they started to keep the same kinds of small areas, but making sure that, in fact, they were going to fit. It took care of itself in a different way. When one of the key components of the whole system is that you cannot have pesticide traces in your product, and you cannot have any metals or any heavy duty contaminants in your products at very low levels. And it has to be tested, it has to be in the track and trace stream. The testing is very sophisticated equipment. I've seen it all. I recognize it, I used to use this stuff, this is good. And guess what will happen with that? That means you're not going to be growing outside so much, you're going to be in an indoors market where you don't use pesticides, and you're going to be able to control the plant better, and that's what they're all going for. And one of the things that is also going to adjust is the fact that people were growing under lights indoors, and you lose the quality on the plant. And these guys are saying, heck, if I can grow in a hoop house, and I can control the light and then shade it at night and put some light on it during the nighttime, I can get 3 crops a year, and I can still get the high quality because I got the light, and I'll just put the smell through a carbon filter. That's what they're doing up there. It's all automated. One guy's operating a 6,000 square foot farm.
Yeah.
So with that, he was not a nuisance to his neighbor, and they didn't even know he was growing until he saw the buses pull up, and it was us. So there's going to be a different future, and it's going to be because of the traffic. Okay? So don't be conclusory. Try to figure out how we're going to do it. Help us get there, because we're trying to do it so that there is some separation of all the issues. Yes, sir.
What is your concern for the community, people in children and so forth, packaging and so forth. What is being looked at with regards to people driving? Where can you smoke? I mean, right now, you've got people walking down the street. You've got laws 20 feet, 10 feet for regular smoking from a business. And yet you can go drive around anywhere and you get contact.
Yeah, I don't know how they're going to handle that. It's obviously the Department of Motor Vehicle and the CHP. So CHP has obviously weighed in on this thing, and that's part of. In fact, there was a CHP out there, and the guy was talking about it, how they have to have a testing product in their hands so they can actually stop them and test them. And the market is responding already. I see it in the articles that I get, where they're testing right now, some articles for testing on the site. So, pull up at some future time and have you blow into something, and they'll know whether you've been smoking and that you're under influence. Because what they found was in the past, the test that they had, you couldn't tell whether the person was under influence because it stayed in the body for so long. But now apparently they're being passed that because some kind of nut product is involved.
What kind of testing are they going to use for narcotics? Because, I mean, if you blow into a device for alcohol or for weed, there should be some detecting method for pharmaceutical drugs as well.
I bet they wish there were, yeah.
Or for speed, or for,
Yeah, I bet they wish there were. Right now what they do is driving under the influence. So if you drive a certain way, then you go through the testing, and if you just act funny, or they can take you in, and then they can have your blood drawn and test you for all those products. And so that's really the way they're handling it. And I'm not with CHP, so I can't test any of this. This is just what I'm being told.
I think they can do urine analysis.
Urine analysis, yeah, whatever. But the thing is, it may be solved by computerized vehicles in the future. I think you can go smoking down the street and won't make any difference. But be involved. We'll have these meetings. I wanted to make sure that our community advisory council had a purpose. I want to bring it to you guys. And if you got any input, get it to me, get it to this council. If you have anything that needs to be written up. But hopefully we're taking care of everybody's questions. If you're interested enough to come to the board meeting, you can do that. It kind of gets lost there because we hear from so many people. And the growers usually flood the room. And I told them, I said, there's no reason not to have this voted on yet because everybody out there has a growing interest. And when you go to your community advisory councils, that's not necessarily the case. Everybody feels more comfortable coming to the meeting. So that's another good reason for having this. And right now, all of District 3 are covered by advisory councils. You're the smallest because you're concerned in any center. So you're getting the most focus from your advisory council.
Is the next meeting going to be at 6 again, or is it going to be at 2?
That's the guy you're talking about. Is there any questions to me? Are we good? Is everybody happy? Am I doing the right thing? That's my behavior. Would you adjust my behavior? Well, I have to get into my bag of goodies so that I can slow down a little bit.
Which bag of goodies are you referring to?
That's all I'm going to do is I'm going to shorten the board members during Tuesday and watch their faces. Don't see who knows what they're doing. All your fault.
Okay. A couple things were raised. One is how long the meeting's going to go. Jim was thinking it was an hour, it was 90 minutes after the presentation by Dollar General. Board members, do we have a?
It's just about on that target.
Okay, so it's 7:30 now, started at 5. Dollar General was at 6, so that is 90 minutes. Couple points we can cover and then adjourn and cover the remaining items at next meeting. But as it was brought up, we had originally talked about 2 o'clock on Tuesdays. We changed it to 2 o'clock on Wednesdays. There was a suggestion that it might be easier for public to be here this evening. What's the board's pleasure?
I'm fine with 6. I'm with
6 words.
The second Wednesday of every month, 6 o'clock. Right?
So there is a question whether it has to be the second Wednesday versus first or third.
Shouldn't be the third because that's the other one.
And the first was a conflict, because that's what we're at active for.
Oh, see, Earth is the first Wednesday, I'm sorry. Earth, East Region Town Hall is the first Wednesday, you're the second
Also
Wednesday.
have to consider whether this room is going to be available that night too. I mean, after these regularly scheduled events here.
Yeah, the calendar, we can just put, the calendar can just always have the council, whatever time we decide, that will be in the calendar.
That'll be okay.
They're here, yeah. Schedule the mission, whatever time works for you.
So I'm hearing Wednesday, 6 o'clock, either the second or third Wednesday.
Show of hands.
I made a motion that we have our meetings on the second Wednesday of each month at 6 p.m. at the Lucerne Community Center.
I second.
Okay, any more discussion? Call for a vote. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Okay. Second.
Good.
Talked about accepting bylaws. That would be an action item.
That's an action item, and we did go over them. I think you guys have a pretty clean set of bylaws. It's up to you now, what's acceptable.
According to my notes, we already passed it.
Did you already pass it? I think you had a clean set, yeah, I thought we did pass
But I
it.
thought you had to take it and did some changes and provide orders and.
No, you almost, after you pass it, I'm supposed to take it to them and ask them if it's good. If you passed it, then I'm at fault.
We passed it with
Oh,
change.
somebody read my minutes this summer.
I didn't see the changes. That's what happened. No one gave you the changes you guys made. You guys passed it with changes, and then I never saw it.
We passed it with changes and he said then and then we'll count.
But I don't have the changes to take.
Changes.
I don't have to take it. Yeah. I got the problem.
Do we have access to bylaws? Do we have
Absolutely.
input to bylaws?
Absolutely. Had you been at that meeting, you would have.
Which meeting?
Okay, cancel.
Yeah, we came, we're all here.
We passed them provisionally, I guess. It was like, to refer to the county council.
There was
last-
two of us
at the
here.
last meeting.
Yeah.
You guys changed the name. You changed the name. Yeah. And we changed a couple days, I think, just a couple of days.
Under actions, in section
Yeah,
5.
to feature elected council. Just elected.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but it's still down there. I gotta have it set with the changes, otherwise I can't do it.
Well, you don't have these wires.
This is that, with the changes you made, so if I can make the changes that send us to the council.
So the bylaws will be, with the changes, will be given to. A couple other things that people mentioned they wanted to discuss, Lake County Transit Stop, Senior Center. Somebody has that one?
Kurt, but you guys are supposed to write the letter, a formal thing, request from
Right, and he was.
the board or your council.
Well, we were supposed to get information on how many people were gonna actually use the bus and bring it before they leave toward the route.
That's what he was.
Yeah.
Can you table that for next time?
No,
Oh, bus stop, not the stop sign, gotcha. Okay.
Yes.
So we'll table that. The stop sign, there was a letter.
Yes, I agreed to write a draft of a letter about the stop sign at Country Club in Foothill Drive. And I drafted it and I emailed it around to the board. And, you know, the problem is that we don't have a mechanism yet by which we can keep the public informed. And it's part of the problem that we have, because we don't have a budget, we don't have an office. So, you know, I'm the director of people, so this probably kind of falls on me. I am not a real technical person, I'm not great at computers. So if anybody would like to volunteer to help in creating some kind of a website or something that people could have access to, and then I could probably talk to the staff here at the senior center, and maybe what we could do is put together a book of information, you know, printed up from people's reports and minutes and all of that. And then if people who didn't have computer access or just wanted to come in and take a look at the book, they would come in during office hours and just come in and read the material. And I think we could do something like that without me.
You know, it takes a while to develop a website. It's not my
It's expensive
expertise.
too, probably.
Not if you get a volunteer from Victor.
No.
But a place to start would just be have a list of emails for those who are emailed.
Yes.
And then you just send out the one.
Send it.
And tell people, please don't put it in.
Yes, I computer, email, or phone, and I watch my Yeah. So tell you what, why don't I just pass this around again, and this time you just, everybody who would like to get notification by email, if that's okay?
You know, the junior college over there might have a program that has students that can help them.
Why don't you just piggyback off the Alpine?
Nobody's there anymore. Not there anymore. There.
No, not there, you're thinking of what, Encino College?
Doesn't the senior center have a website? Perhaps you could get a folder.
I'm not sure, but I don't think it does.
I can't offer for.
Yeah, actually it
Okay,
does.
but Virginia, everybody
It's not up.
emails?
Please could forward a link.
You talk to Kurt, and you can work something out.
Maybe he's pretty techy, I know Kurt's good at this. Yeah, I don't think it's good.
If anybody wants to donate a fan that's silent, that. I turned that thing on and just about ground my fingers off. I think we need some air.
Anyway, I'm sorry. Excuse me. I got off the subject, all I think it's important. I drafted an email to Scott Young, who's head of Public Works, about this stop sign, the additional stop signs at Country Club Drive and Foothill to make it safer. That was something that was requested by a member of the public and a couple of meetings back, and I agreed to draft it, and I was going to ask the board to make whatever comments they have, and I could finalize it and send it to Scott DeLeon, and I guess I could read it if people want to hear it, and they like to hear it, but, you know,
People want to hear it?
you want to hear it, or shall
Go
we
ahead and read it.
just- Okay. Okay, subject, request for stop sign at Country Club Drive and Foothill Drive in Lucerne. At its June 12th meeting, the Lucerne Town Hall Advisory Council unanimously voted to support a request from residents of Lucerne to have additional stop signs placed at the intersection of Country Club and Foothill Drives in Lucerne, creating a three-way stop at this T intersection. Currently, there's a single stop sign to halt traffic on Foothill at the north side of Country Club. This does not adequately control traffic turning from Country Club onto Foothill in either direction, plus it does not slow down cars headed up Foothill from Highway 20. So it's kind of long, but you know, I wanted to give you information. As you know, Country Club Drive parallels Highway 20. Country Club uses a bypass when traffic on Highway 20 is restricted by road work or accidents. Just a few weeks ago, a semi-truck crashed on Highway 20 at 11 p.m., resulting in a 2-hour power outage and routing of traffic, including many semi-trucks. The Country Club in the middle of a very dark night. During the extensive repaving and sidewalk improvement projects, many drivers use Country Club Drive to bypass flag areas on Highway 20. Many others use this intersection daily to access their homes on Upper Foothill at the west end of Country Club. Lucerne Town Hall believes this additional stop sign will slow traffic and substantially increase pedestrian and driver safety at this hazardous intersection. Lucerne Town Hall requested to take steps to place a second stop sign on Foothill on the south side of this intersection of Country Club, as well as a stop sign on Country Club at the intersection of Foothill. We would be happy to answer any questions you may have. Please contact us at, and thank you for your attention to this matter. So, yes, what I know.
Any input from board, any input from public?
And I think for our contact, I think we should start dog gardens.
Scott and I have the same hairdresser, so
Are you available to have your contact?
Sure.
Sure. So probably we should come to what should I?
that'd be fine.
And so, I sent it to you by email, you probably just
I move that we accept this letter and forward it to the board. That we send it to budget committee.
Scott,
I second the motion. And part of you're saying that I should also volunteer to sign it. All those in favor? Aye. Aye. Opposed? Passes. If you could send me another copy just to make sure.
Sure, and I got it here. Typing glitch, yes.
Any other pressing business that we can postpone to next meeting?
Point of information, on our bylaws, did we appoint someone to make those corrections and get them to our supervisor?
Good question. Not seeing anybody switch.
Do I have to miss?
Do any of us have the digital copies of the bylaws? We have the digital copies, it's very easy to make changes.
That's great.
Thank you for that clarification. Thank you for volunteering.
Do we need a motion?
No, I don't think
Any other, Tommy?
The senior center, what's happening? I now saw it, see a sign out there. Are they doing breakfast again now? Are they having lunch again? What is happening?
I've been talking to the board about wanting to start breakfast again for months, but I'm just one person and I'm not experienced in the kitchen, but we have a new board member who's willing to get in that kitchen and make cakes and pancakes and do the thing. So this Saturday is sort of our pilot Saturday. We're going to give it a go. Come on down, it's 8 to 11 a.m. We're going to start breakfast. And I think if this is all, if it goes well, we're going to be doing it the third Saturday of every month.
I was just curious because for 10 years our daycare, we did the bake sale.
Yes.
The breakfast and so on.
Yes, on the first Saturday.
Caroline's gonna ask me what's going on.
And I shouldn't even say this, it's premature, but it might end up being every Saturday. But like I said, this is just the first Saturday, we're gonna give it a go, and we're gonna try to do it every third Saturday, and it's popular, and it's, we can make it happen, maybe it'll be every Saturday. We'll
we